You have to be willing to fly. You have to be willing to take a step. You're going to have to take a step. You're going to have to embrace what your gift is, and you're going to have to let society, your client base, and the market determine where you go. You have to be open to that. If you're stuck where you are, I don't need to give you all the cliche terms,
Welcome to the Amani Experience Podcast. In this podcast, you will experience wisdom, advice, and stories from creatives all over the world. Your host is Amani Roberts, who is a DJ, music producer, professor, avid book reader, and developing salsa dancer. On the show, we love to share the stories of creative professionals, especially people who have gone from the corporate life to the creative life. Once again, welcome to the Amani Experience Podcast.
The guest for episode 1 of the Amani Experience Podcast is Kurtis Cross, who is a nationally renowned DJ. I first met Kurtis back in 1986 when he DJ'd a party that I was attending when I was in middle school. The party was at Sligo Rec Center in Tacoma Park, Maryland. Kurtis is a mentor of mine. He's DJ'd over 2,000 weddings around the world. We went to the same high school together, Montgomery Blair High School, the same college, Howard University in D.C. In the past, Kurtis has been a resident club DJ in Miami, New York, and Washington, D.C. My favorite thing about Kurtis is that despite his many years of experience, he's open to both learning new skills as well as sharing his wisdom and expertise with up-and-coming DJs such as myself. That's a very rare characteristic in the DJ world, and I really appreciate it. In this episode, we cover a nice variety of topics. I feel you enjoy his perspective and the stories he tells. Plus, he does give me a hard time throughout the interview, which is kind of funny. But there's a reason why I chose a DJ as my first interview for the show, so that's just important to me. Let's get to the show. Enjoy. Welcome back to our podcast. Today, I have with me DJ Kurtis Cross, DJ extraordinaire. I want Kurtis to introduce yourself and kind of tell us your story real quick, and then I'm going to tell a quick story about how I met you.
You interrupted my Amazon shopping. For anyone who's listening, I'm on Amazon Prime now trying to find a new studio board because Mr. Amani of the Amani Experience has outshone me with the audio board here. DJ Kurtis Cross, that's who I am, I guess. Started in 1986, DJing little school dances and parties. That was 31 years ago. Excited to get to my first event. Probably did not have another event for a few months after that, but still excited. And 31 years later, and I don't know, 10 or 12,000 events later, here we are.
All right, 10 or 12,000. So I want to go back to 1987. Okay. We're at Tacoma Rec Center. It was a birthday party, and that's when I first saw Kurtis. He might not remember this. But it was
I don't.
Birthday party, Tacoma Rec Center. He was on the Wheels of Steel, and that's when I first met him, and I was like, wow, I want to do that. So, of course, we grew up together, went to the same high school. Then I kind of went my way, went to Los Angeles. He's here in Silver Spring, Maryland, Kensington, Maryland. And so now we're talking about life and kind of what it's like to be a creative and that sort of thing. So I appreciate you being on the show.
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right, so we'll kind of get right to it. Basically, talk to us about why you like being a DJ, why you like being a creative, and kind of what's important to you and what do you deem as makes you successful in this creative kind of space?
I love to see people have a good time. And, being in the DJ business allows me to see people in their best moments. It's a wedding celebration where, a couple's experiencing the happiest day of their life. I focus on wedding celebrations only now, but throughout the years, I've done school dances, I've done corporate events, I've done nightclubs and bars, I've done Sweet 16s, and, you name it. I did some presidential balls. I've done the opening of the Verizon Center, now Capital One Arena, I guess, here in Washington, D.C. I've DJ'd in, California and Vegas and Texas and Miami, New York City, all over the place. What I love the most is the ability to affect people, excuse me, and their ability to have a good time and to deliver that good time to people. And although I would think a lot of careers or jobs that folks have, I would think that, it could get mundane, but every night, every week, it's a different crowd. It's a different challenge. It's a different opportunity to present to folks, my best work and to give them the time of their life.
Okay. Walk us through or tell us, out of all the events you have done, what are maybe your top 2 or 3 most memorable events that you've DJed?
That's really tough. Thousands of events later. I would think about, DJing a nightclub one night when Kevin Spacey walked in. Or I would think about doing the Fat Black Pussycat down in Miami, Prince's nightclub. Or I would think about the Palladium in New York City. I would think about being on a rooftop overlooking the Empire State Building just this year, the first weekend in June for one of my former DJ buddies. I was up there in Lower Manhattan doing his wedding. I would think about those. The top 2 or 3, I don't know if I've ever allowed myself to think of the top 2 or 3. There are definitely some weddings that I leave and I said that was a top 10 wedding. And it's just based off the energy you can create with that group of guests, that crowd. It's when you feel like as a DJ you're on fire and there's nothing you can do wrong. And the crowd responds in an excellent way to everything you do. I don't know if I can put my finger on that one event on June 10th, 2004. That was the best event. I don't know. I've had some great nightclub nights here in Gaithersburg at Wicked Wednesdays. I've had some great Friday Night Lives in Rockville. Even though I produced this event I'm going to talk about, I didn't actually DJ the event. I brought Chuck Brown to Rockville, Maryland for an event. That was probably one of my greater nights. But I didn't DJ that event. I just produced it and promoted it and all of that. So I don't know.
Oh, that's a good list. For people who are outside the DC area, explain just how important, how big Chuck Brown was and why that was a big event for you. Because I know, but people outside the area might not know.
For those in New Orleans, you listen to Zydeco or Second Line music. That's native to New Orleans. In New York City, hip hop started there. And it's gone all over the country. Well, in DC, we have go-go music, and the godfather of go-go was, and still is, and always will be, Chuck Brown. He passed 5 or 6 years ago. Go-go music is native to DC. It has gotten outside of DC, I would say, to Richmond, to Baltimore, to Philly, all over the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. And as much as I don't want to use this as an example, if anyone heard the song The Butt by EU, that's go-go music that made it nationwide, or some of DJ Kool's music has made it nationwide. That's based off a go-go premise. That's go-go music. It's the music of the people of DC. It always will be our music. It always has been our music. We don't mind sharing it with the world, but we're just okay if it's right here in the DC, Maryland area.
All right. There it is, go-go music. So 1986, now it's 2017, so we probably got about 31 years in the business. When was it that you realized that this was going to be a legitimate business for you, and what kind of helped you get to that point and become and maintain your success from then on?
We are 4 days away from 31 years exactly, September 6th, 1986.
Congratulations.
This will be the first time that I've ever publicly said this. Here's why I'm in the DJ business. There was a guy in 8th grade like me, and he could play the saxophone better than I can play any instrument. He was more athletic than I was. He was more popular than I was. And I wanted to do something better than him. And he DJ'd events. And I wanted to try out something that I could maybe do better than him. I won't name him, but that's what got me into it. When did I know this would be something full-time? I think 1991. We went from records and we moved over to CDs. That kind of let me know this is where I was going to be. When I was at Howard University, And I saw myself sitting in a professor's classroom learning things from the School of B, the School of Business that I had already learned when I was 13 and 14, and I felt like I could apply what I learned to this business full time. And my father was in business, my grandfather was in business, my great grandfather was in business. So I think that part of it may have been fate and destiny for me, but the DJ business is where I belong. I love people. I love to talk to people. And I love to entertain people. I love to host people. So this is where I belong as far as being able to help plan an event, support my clients. Although I have two sides of the business, I take care of all the weddings. I have another side of the business where we do the corporate events and the school dances and the pool parties and the music videos and, movie nights and all of that. I love supporting each of my clients and getting them to the day of their event stress-free and producing something that they never thought was possible. I want to pause parenthetically to say that if my mic doesn't sound as good as Amani's mic, it's because he's using the Rode NT1000 microphone that I was going to use, but unfortunately he came unprepared with the proper board to attenuate the sound, so I'm on a Shure SM58, which is a great dynamic performance microphone, but not necessarily the best studio microphone. So I really do sound better than this, and Amani doesn't sound as good as this normally. You're welcome.
Thank you for that. Another fun fact, Kurtis went to Howard University School of Business. I also went to Howard University School of Business, so we're both Bisons. That's another fun fact.
Yes.
Just gotta make sure we put that out there. Next, so in today's environment, 2017, what do you feel is important for creative professionals such as us? What's important for them to succeed in this kind of environment in today's atmosphere?
The most important thing to succeed in this atmosphere is to keep your mind open. Now, I'm going to tell a story that you don't know. Well, I may have talked to you about this before. When Amani and I came back into contact with each other, I would say 2 or 3, maybe 4 years ago, we started, chewing the fat about the DJ business. And a lot of what I talked to you about, I try to, offer some ideas on this end that work on the East Coast. I don't know, if that works necessarily out there in California where you are, but keeping your mind open, I'm sure I would have told you this, but when I looked at your website, it sort of inspired me to make some changes to my website. Now, here I am, at that time, 26 or 27 years in. I've got the formula, right? I know what I'm doing. But here's Amani, who has a website that is so dynamic, so creative, that I wasn't blinded by my own experience to say, whatever, my website's great. You have to be open to learning. We learned when we went from records to cassettes, to cassette singles, to maxi singles, to CDs. And then we went from CDs to media players that you could load all of your CDs into it. And then it would play off a hard drive. And that was a very short stint before laptops and software came about. And if my mind wasn't open, then I'd probably still be using CDs. But technology, wow, I think that's the thing that people can embrace that will help you do your job better. Now, technology is good and bad. Technology means that things are faster, smaller, cheaper, and more accessible, which means everyone thinks they can be a DJ. And being a DJ, I have a 5-year-old son who knows how to play musical. Excuse me, he's 7. Wow, I said 5. My son is 7 now, who can play music off my laptop. It doesn't make him a DJ. But what's the most important thing? Keeping your mind open to change. I learned from you and your website and sort of how you market your services allowed me to sort of adjust what we do in some ways to, be more successful. You have to be willing to fly. You have to be willing to take a step you're going to have to take a step. You're going to have to embrace what your gift is, and you're going to have to let society, your client base, and the market determine where you go. You have to be open to that. If you're stuck where you are, I don't need to give you all the cliche terms. If you're going to keep doing what you're doing, you're always going to get what you got. If you want to get more, you've got to get out there and do something you haven't done before to get what you haven't gotten before.
Yeah, so true. Keep your mind open. Love it. So go back to when you were talking about technology, and you're 31 almost, in a couple of days. 30 4 days.
These people need to understand that I give you a hard time all the time.
I love
this is what we do.
I love it. It's great. So in your years of experience with technology, what has been the biggest technological advancement that really kind of just still amazes you, or just like, wow, I can't believe we've gone from here to there in the world of DJ?
There have been a few things that have very much so surprised me to this very day that I still love, how it transcended the industry. I think digital music has transcended the industry. And when you look at things that make you say, wow, you're like, okay, what is it that happened that allowed me to make more money, or allowed me to, get more shine on the DJ stage? For me, digital music, or making music available digitally, I think that's big because it's huge for the artist. Now, there's an artist somewhere in Centerville, Tennessee, who 10 years ago could not have gotten his or her music out there. And now they, through social media and through digital music, can get their music out there, 1,200 miles away to me, or 3,100 miles away to you, and you can put their song in rotation. I think digital music has allowed those who are creative but did not have the means to get their music to the airwaves, to really put their music on display. I think LED lighting and technology has really been huge in doing what we do. You can't overlook the fact that I went from carrying hundreds of pounds of records to, carrying a MacBook Air that probably weighs 8 pounds that has all the music on it. You can't ignore that when you talk about technology and where things have emerged. But 20 years ago, 30 years ago, if you and I were, an R&B duo, we had to get a record deal. We had to do this, we had to do that. But you've got guys like Chance the Rapper, you've got guys like Macklemore who are selling, their mixtapes out of their trunk, and they're going platinum because they had an Instagram feed with 2 million followers, and they were able to get something on YouTube, and within a week they have, 300,000 listens. They were able to monetize their talent by getting it on social media and making the world aware of who they are. I mean, someone like, Kendrick Lamar, someone like I said, Chance the Rapper, who, by the way, not only is winning awards and selling millions, but he's giving back to his community in Chicago, which is hugely important. I would say, after having spoken myself through all of what I just said, I think the biggest thing that makes me say, wow, then is social media. What social media has done for not only the music industry, but a ton of industries, but specifically the music industry has benefited greatly from social media. Someone like Katy Perry can, drop a single on YouTube, and before her album even hits the stores or hits iTunes, she has 1 million hits. That's huge for the music industry.
Definitely. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. So, as you spoke about, and we know in the DJ world, it's very crowded. Very crowded in the DJ world. Lots of people think that they can be DJs just by owning a laptop and maybe hitting play on a song. What do you do to kind of rise above the noise and distinguish yourself as like a professional DJ who knows what they're doing?
This is the part where it definitely sounds arrogant. 31 years in the business will do that for you. Will give you the reputation that, folks, they want you to be the guy who's bringing them the music at their event. It's just a track record, a resume. The cliche term would be my body of work. right? But no, I think what it is it's the 31 years in the industry. I think it's, coming in number 2 across the country in the National Wedding Award. I think it's being a 7-time winner of the Couples Choice Award on Wedding Wire. Those kinds of things sort of set you apart. Here's one thing I would tell people in the industry, in any business they're in. Once you become an authority or an expert in your field, that sort of sets you apart from the rest of the field. If you want again, I'll use the word cliched, sappy version, be the best at what you do. Be the best at what you do. Be a leader, not a follower. When someone hires the Amani Experience or Kurtis Cross Professional Wedding DJ, they're not getting a guy with a laptop who has a couple thousand songs. I can't speak to your stats, but when they get me, they get someone who's, got 2 laptops, who backs up everything, who has 2 hard drives, who has over 400,000 songs between the 2 laptops at each event. You have a staff that's going to support us. You're going to have a staff that's going to support our couple, or our client. We're providing some things that I believe other DJs aren't able to provide. And I would say for the most part, because most DJs are part-time, whereas I'm full-time, so I have the time, the know-how, and I have the staff to support a full-time business, which means we can give our clients, attention. We can support our clients. We can deliver what we say we're going to deliver because this is what we do.
All right, cool. So let's go back and let's have a conversation with your 21-year-old self. If you could go back and talk to a 21-year-old Kurtis Cross, what kind of advice would you give him?
The unpopular advice I would give him first would be you probably did not need college to do what you're doing now. Although I believe college is a huge benefit to most people, I would say that part was not necessary for me to get where I am here. My 21-year-old self, I would say be born 21 years later, because I could have gotten to this point a lot quicker with technology where it is now. I love where I am in my career. It took me 31 years to get here. However, I think and I believe that someone who starts today does not need 31 years to get to where I got to. Technology, the internet, social media will allow you to get here a lot quicker. When I was 21, I was the same person you were probably. We had all the answers. We knew everything. I would have had my mind open a little bit more then, and I would have likely gone under the wing of someone who could have taught me or schooled me or mentored me. I did not have that in the DJ industry. So that would have been nice to have.
All right. Good advice. Interesting. Very interesting. Why do you feel that, college, especially because you have your own business, why would you have chosen to not attend college if you could go back and do it over again?
Well, I think the industry from the age of 13 taught me a lot. When I was 16 years old, I was in New York City DJing. When I was, right out of high school, I was 18. I was at Trax DC nightclub DJing. During that same period of time, I was either 17 or 18. I have a late birthday. And I was flying to New York to DJ once a week. And those experiences sort of helped shape where I am now. Again, I will not say that no one should go to college. I think college or university is an excellent choice and almost a must-have for anyone today. But I think I learned a lot more from the industry and through making my own mistakes and seeing the mistakes of some others that helped me to run this business a bit better than college actually prepared me for.
All right. Cool. So,
man, your mic sounds nice.
I love it. Thank you. What is one new habit that you've added in the past year that has helped your daily routine?
Eliminate time wasters.
For example?
Social media. Even though I've just championed social media as a way that we get done what we get done, but Quite simply, time wasters. I spend hardly any of my day now on these social media sites, just cruising through and reading posts and looking at pictures and that kind of thing. I can save that for my social or personal time, but that would be something I did. Thank you, Stephanie Padavani. She taught me that. Eliminating time wasters.
Okay.
Eliminating time wasters.
Is there any book or books that you've read recently in the past year or two that you think people should stop what they're doing right now and start to read them?
No.
No books?
No.
All right. I'm a big reader. That's why I always like to ask that.
Not in the last year or two, but if you want to ask me about books in my past that I would
All right,
read.
let's go there.
You didn't say that. Okay, folks, when you interview someone, one of the cardinal sins is do not ask a yes or no question. You asked a closed-ended question.
True.
You did, so the answer was no.
So then let's open the question up. And let's say, what books would you recommend people stop what they're doing right now and read them right away?
Sacred Hoops by Phil Jackson. That book has very little to do about the DJ business or anything, and I think we're not just talking the DJ business here, but it's a great book that talks about teamwork and sacrificing the me for the we and selflessness and that sort of thing. I would certainly say Sacred Hoops would be a book that folks should read. The Beginner's Guide to Zen Buddhism. I don't look at it from a religious standpoint. I don't discuss politics or religion, but that book is an excellent book to read. Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. Those are great. That's another great book to read. And my wife and I just got a book. The four, say it.
4 Agreements? Or the 5 Love Languages?
Whoa. That's a different show, different time after sunset.
Hey,
Whoa.
4 or 5, just shouting out suggestions.
I will say The Alchemist. That's an
Very
excellent
good
book
one.
as well.
Yes.
I have not opened it to read it yet.
You should read it right away.
It was right away? Like you mean, like stop what I'm doing?
Stop what you're doing.
So this would be on your top 5.
Well, if you haven't read it, yes. Yes, it would be on my top 5 for you. Yes, I have a couple others. Like for me, what have I read this year or recently? Tools of the Titans, Tim Ferriss. That's a good one. I love that one.
The 4 Agreements. Isn't that what I said?
That's what I said.
That's what you. Well, people heard you on the good microphone. That's why.
They good. They heard you on both microphones. So yeah, 4 Agreements. The author for that is Don Miguel Ruiz. Correct.
Correct.
That's a good one. And then Paulo Coelho, I think that's how we pronounce his name properly. The Alchemist.
Yes. You see, I've got some good reasons.
I love it.
It's not just music with me.
I love it.
You see that?
Yes.
You see that? All right.
Yes.
I haven't read them yet.
That's okay.
But here they are.
We'll get to that. I'm gonna check back with you in a couple of months. And
Oh boy.
get
When you
a
checked
book
back
report.
on me with the app, iTunes hasn't approved my app yet. What is wrong with
Let's
them?
be patient. Let's send them a note after this show because that should be approved by now. It's been too many months.
It should.
Definitely. All right. Tell the people how they can find you. How they can find you on your favorite social media sites and websites and all that.
Just look to the sky. When you see that celestial being, it's me. It's me. I'm all knowing. I'm a juggernaut. I'm omnipotent. No, please.
If it's cloudy outside.
If it's cloud, I shine through that. I shine through that. How do you find me? Well, you can call me, but people don't do that anymore, do they?
They want to look at you on Instagram.
Instagram,
Yes.
DJ Kurtis Cross. That's KURTISCROSS. Type in, here's a good marketing placement situation here. Just type in professional wedding DJ anywhere in the world, and I'm one of the first 2 or 3 that pop up. But DJ Kurtis Cross, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Periscope, wherever. Just type in DJ Kurtis Cross and I'll come up.
And do you have a favorite site that you live on most times?
A social site?
Yes.
Oh, Instagram.
Instagram.
It's so awesome.
All right. There you go.
Yeah, it is awesome.
Cool. All right. Well, we're just about finished. Any last words of advice or thoughts for our audience?
I don't know. Go do what you do. Have fun with it. Be the best at what you can do. Learn from others. I would say, in the words of Steve Harvey, I would say, there's going to come a point where in your life you have to jump, and you have to take that jump, and your parachute's not going to open every single time. You're going to get scraped up along the way, but you must take that jump. I would leave people with several cliche phrases. You only regret the chances that you don't take. So go out there and take those chances. If you're going to walk scared, don't walk at all. You got to go out there and do it full force. And I would tell the people that you definitely want to put your all into it. No one can crush your dreams more than you can. You shouldn't allow anyone to have that kind of power where they would be able to crush your dreams. And last but not least, and this is my favorite, I do speaking engagements all the time. And most often people haven't heard this one. I'm going to guess some of your listeners have. If plan A doesn't work out, there are 25 other letters in the alphabet. So work another plan. The idea might not be bad, but the steps you took to get there may need to be reworked. So go out there and work your plan. And if you need any assistance or any inspiration, I truly mean this, find me and talk to me. I will be your muse. I will inspire you. I will make sure you get to where you want to go. Being a boss, these young folks look at it. I'm a boss. I have this money. I have this car. I have this. Being a boss means that others at your table get to eat also. It's not just about you. Others in your circle, and your circle can't be that big. I have a table, I call it, and those who get a seat at my table, they're going to eat like I eat. So, make sure that you take care of yourself, but learn from others, take care of others. And I think we're not worth much in this world if we're not serving this world by helping others. So let's do that. Last Saturday and the last Saturday or the third Saturday in December every year, our family goes out and we do good in public. We do a Thanksgiving drive, we do a Christmas drive where we feed the homeless, and last year we were able to feed 500 people. Go out and help, because what did Maya Angelou say? I think helping others is the rent we pay for living on this earth. So go help others. That's all I got to say.
Love it. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you for listening to the Amani Experience podcast. You can check out the show notes on amaniexperience.com/podcast. Please remember to leave us a review on the platform you are listening on, and share this podcast with anyone who you feel would benefit from listening. See you soon on our next episode.